Hi, Marc. How are you?
Good. What about you, Eva?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Happy to hear that. And thank you to invite me here. So let's see what's happening.
This is conversation number one with Marc. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. That is what I do for my profession. And the way that I connected to you was because I was having a session with someone else a few years back. And she said to me, listen, you're so stubborn that you need hypnosis. And I said, I don't know if I believe in that. How is that really actually going to work? And she said, well, when you find the right practitioner, you'll see. Well, it took me 2 years to meet you since I had that session with the therapist. And it was beautiful because we connected through a mutual friend, and you explained to me the process, and we worked through a lot of deep things that I didn't really know that were there, that were impacting me. And in just a short amount of time, it didn't take years. It was just four sessions. So it's just so wonderful to be able to then have developed a friendship with you and a working relationship where we can continue having these conversations about the mind, about the heart and the body, and feed off of each other when it comes to this sort of thing, so that we can just keep improving. So my work as a psychologist is twofold. I enjoy the one-on-one sessions with my clients, and I really love having these educational conversations with practitioners that I respect and I admire. And you're one of them. So thank you for being here.
Thank to you. And yes, I remember the day you came, and I'm glad I met you because you are very a nice person, very a beautiful soul, and I'm glad to have you like my friend. And of course, my name is Marc. I'm Marc Di Maggio. I'm a hypnotist, and also I'm a therapist of emotional release, somatic level. I do body reading, and then there's another part of me, but that is not the for the day to speak about that. So yes, I'm a hypnotist, and that's the way I met you. And it's very interesting what happened between me and you because uh, you do psychoanalysis. Are you saying English? Psychologist, right?
Yeah, psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy, and you give me that input to understand the psychotherapy, right? It's a little bit different with hypnosis and psychotherapy, but you give me that input to, okay, we are in different way to acting from the school where you learn, but our brain is being able to bring us in the same way, the same path, to learn to speak with people, to tell them some kind of message in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's I have a such a respect for your job, such a respect in the way you do. So, and yes, I mean, you give me that. I love to work one-on-one. I love to work in group hypnosis. I have an event next month, and I love to speak about that, of course. And I mean, there is so much to say. So let's see the time we have. Let's see what we can say today. I mean, I would love to explain so much, but I know we have to choose something, right?
Well, what did you think about that? You know, how the therapist said to me, you're so stubborn. You need hypnosis. You need something to go into the subconscious. Is that is that something common that you find with the clients that you work with, where they might have tried everything? Like what sets hypnosis apart from other types of therapies?
Yes, that's very common. I mean, there is so many clients came to me and they say, I'm stubborn. I want to go there. I want to open my third eye. I want to go in the quantum field. I want to see something, right? And then when they start the first session, which is the hard one, they feel there are no opening. They feel they stay there, they stuck there. But when I ask them, how you feeling? I mean, I'm feeling calm, in peace. I'm feeling I'm there. I see something that far away, but I can't open that. So you're in. So the point is that is the way you believe or not make the difference. If you see a light there, that means there is something there, a beings or a message for you, right? And is the way you want to have that message, or you say, no, I can't see that. That's impossible. So you start to rationalize,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And yes, that's mean to be stubborn. So I have so many clients that there. So and then after a little bit, they just let it go. Is the way you surrender, right? Happening to me, happening to you, happening to everyone. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
You say to me you were stubborn, right? What really mean for you to be stubborn?
Mm. And there's so many things with that word. Stubborn is such a loaded word for me. It's something I've been called my whole life. Um, I like to learn, or maybe not so much anymore, the hard way. I
Mm.
want the experience to show me. I don't necessarily want to be told by someone else that that's what it is. I need to see it with my own eyes and feel it with my body, not just what I read in the books or the stories that other people share with me, because it becomes then more real. Um, for me, when someone calls me stubborn, or when I feel like I'm stubborn, it's that there's still the information is, it's like one dimensional, and I know that there's so much more on the other side. So I'm gonna keep at it, I'm gonna keep at it and keep at it until it pops, like an origami type of thing. Maybe that's I don't know, a new way of explaining it, when you like, and then it opens. Ah, okay, now I see. Um, but it's gotten me, I wouldn't say into trouble, but it's gotten me to learn things a harder way than to take the message at face value for what it is in the moment it's given to me and move on from there. Sometimes I need to go through the full experience to see, that's what they meant back then when they said it.
But imagine that, right? And you know me, where I'm going, right? Imagine that you are speaking to me right now. You're explaining something deep within you, right?
Mm.
So about to be stubborn, right? In your experience,
Mm.
which part of your body was involved right now?
So my heart was beating a bit faster and I was getting a little sweatier under my armpits.
So I can surprise you probably. There is some kind of anger there.
Could be. Yeah.
Yes. So when hitting here in your stomach, in your heart, right here, there is some kind of anger, right? You need to
Mm.
show up a certain way. So probably when you speak about that, you have some memory coming back in your past
Mm.
that give you the input of the opportunity to think, hey, Eva, I'm here. There is something you need to look at, right? There is something you need to resolve. You're still there. So and that's the job, right? Because our body speak, our body explain everything, our body's involving with us in our life. And
Mm.
when you start to listen your body and you accept that, and you take a nice breath, you have the consequence in your brain.
Yes. And you always say that there's something there. Let's see, but there's something there. And I love that because I mean, I can't imagine what goes through your mind, but it's almost like you see the seed and you see the little plant kind of coming out. You're like, okay, hold on. It's going to come out. It's going to come out at some point, and then we could work through it. And why I love speaking with you is because you're so perceptive and you're so generous in sharing with this with the person speaking to you the information, so that then that information, that new perspective then becomes hopefully a part of that person's reality. Like, oh, okay, so the next time I'm getting sweaty under my armpits and my heart's beating some sort of way and I'm looking out there's a memory that I'm attaching to the word stubborn. And if you hadn't gone through the trainings and your life experiences and everything, we would have just moved on and talked about something else. And then,
Right.
oh, okay, yeah, you're stubborn. That means you're hard-headed. Okay, let's go next. But that would have been one-dimensional. And instead you took it to then, okay, let's blossom from there and move out and see where does this come from? Because clearly it's still something that's an issue that whether or not it was resolved in our sessions prior, which for sure a lot of it was, is still coming up because I'm having an emotional and physiological reaction.
Yes, and you know, when I speak with you, or I speak with somebody else, and also with my clients, when they speak to me, it's like I listen then, but like you say, I'm just go through the point. Now, when I'm going through the point, I can see something or I can receive something. But my job is not to tell, hey, I see that, so you need to see that. Is let you go there, right? And with you is sometimes is very is very simple in the way that happening because of course you are a psychologist and you are so open and I know your clients are so happy with you because you are open to go in a certain way there to resolve what they need to resolve, right? And that's the point. So yes, we have a nice conversation, me and you. And actually, we have fun because we love to challenge that, challenge ourselves. That means you are two people, two persons, me and you, to love to learn from each other. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's us, right? With other people too. You have a nice group of friends, and I love to be there sometimes because there is some changing, there's some change information, right? But like you say, I use the the tone of the voice, I use the body reading, I use the what they say, and for me to receive some information, and then I just go to direct to the point. And there is some because I'm open. I'm always open, and the point is like I really believe in that. There is no doubt on me, and that's the point. That's what I do. Everybody can do. It's not like be magic or special. There is nothing special here. Is the way I learn my lessons, is the way I can communicate with myself and with the other people because I really believe what I receive.
And I think it's funny when people say that, oh, what I can do, everybody could do. It's like what my sister is a chef and she'll make the most intricate, delicious meals. And she's like, it's okay, it's easy. You could do it. And then she'll share the recipe and it's like 40 ingredients. And to have gotten to sear the meats just so took her probably 2 semesters, etc. And it's nice because it's humbling. Like once you get to that level, you could say that, oh, anyone can do it because you've mastered it yourself. But it's almost to other people who don't, it could be a disservice because you didn't wake up like this, right?
Right. But I have a question for you first.
Okay.
What's the difference from now to 5 minutes away, 5 minutes ago, about your sensation in your hands?
My sensation in my hands are,
Yes.
they're
Do you
okay.
feel something different? Right? Probably not. You don't feel that. There is something there. Well, we are going there. We are going there. But it's like to be really aware about our body, in the way our body communicates. And that's when I speak with somebody, I feel that. Right? I felt your hands, a certain point was like heavy of your body, right? And connect with your heart, something like that. It's like your hands are holding the position because I don't want to go through. I don't know if I can say something like that. And then you just let it go. And that's the good of you. So how I became like that, it's been a long journey. And, I started to do a lot of plant medicine. The excuse to do plant medicine was like because I went through a traumatic situation in my life. My mom like got murdered, and the way I reacted, it was unique from my part. I used to be very nervous person, impulsive person, right? And then since that moment, I just, for certain reason, kind of relief. I studied that kind of relief, what really happened there. And the plant medicine helped me to understand all the point of my life, step by step. And I went through, I did like plant medicine for 5 years. I went so different places in Brazil, in Mexico, here in Florida. And I used to go for almost 3 years every month. 3 days, 1 day, 7 days. And until it was too much. But at the end, I understand the knowledge in my mind. At a certain point, it was like open up. And the accepted, the moment it was open up, I was like feeling crazy at a certain point. But then I decided to go through that crazy, to the border of the crazy. And then I came out like in a certain way, like my knowledge is different. I just need to believe in that. I don't know if it was clear in the way I explain it. I don't want to be too long, of course, because the story will be different. But if it's not clear, you let me know. Give me like 10 minutes, I can tell you something different. But yes, at the end, that's my story in short way.
Um, it's definitely an abridged story how you're describing it, but I can't imagine when you're saying going through the processes of opening your mind and feeling like you're going crazy, then going through that experience of, okay, I feel like I am, let's go in deeper, and then you come out the other side. That is so that's intense, right? I mean, it's everything in your life is impacted when you go through all of that.
It's intense. That's the difference between me and the majority of the people. They start to do the same process I went through, right? Plant medicine or meditation or whatever. I mean, I just jump in deep and deeper and deeper. It was not enough for me. I remember was a time I was to do an ayahuasca, and then the divine came to me, what you want now? Eat a lot, take your time to process, take the time to integrate your body and your mind. I'm saying, no, I want, like you say, starborn. You know, that's why you're good, because you started the correct way. I was starborn, right? No, I want to know knowledge. And she said to me, are you sure you want that? Yes, I'm here for that, right? For those don't know what I'm talking about, when we do plant medicine,
Yeah.
we connect with our higher self, certain point. Our higher self is connected in a multidimensional way with some entity, with some beings, but it's always us, right? Because we are those beings. So we connect with that knowledge is part of us, right? So when we connect, I was connected with that divine. So I was connected, she was speaking to me in the way I used to speak to me by myself. So I would say, I want to know. And then she, okay, let's go there. So she just take me and put me in the head of somebody, right? A crazy man. So I was inside a brain, a crazy man, right? And I start to see stuff there. I mean, and I start to see a code. And that code was giving me some pain, some such anxiety. And she was asking me, what's happening now? I'm saying, I'm panicking, right? So I was in that line between the light and the dark side. And she asked me, what do you want to do? I want to go in the light side. I don't want to go in the dark side. So I jump into the light side and say, tell me. I'm saying, well, I'm in the light side. I see the other side. It's like, I realizing we never die. And I'm saying, but I want to know where am I right now? She tell me, you are inside your mind, right? And then when she tell me that, that's the difference, because I tell you the story, you can understand in your way, but for me it was like a click to be clear about the information I needed, right? And of course, I don't want to go through that because it will be too long, but that's the point. You say to me, Starborn, right? If I tell you Starborn, and you connect with your heart and your hands, right? What is the dark side there?
What do you mean by the dark side?
I can answer for you.
The dark side, do you mean the shadow side? The dark side, do you mean the insecure side? The dark side, do you mean the part that is vulnerable?
What is the dark side for you? I mean, when you say dark side or subconscious mind, right? What will it mean?
For me, when I think of the dark side, I think of all of the parts that I'm ashamed to show to the world that have beautiful gifts, but they're kind of smelly, they're kind of stenchy, they're not refined. So I'm wearing a black dress. You can't see the sweat. You can't smell it because we're on virtual. It doesn't smell. But even if it did, right? That's the idea. I can make a joke out of it right now because I'm hiding the dark side by making the joke and smiling so nicely. But it's still there. It's still being perceived by you. And
Yeah. No,
and
no,
I,
go ahead.
no, and I think that the work that you do, and I believe I do as well, is the more connected we are to the darker sides of us, the shadow sides of us, the parts that we think are crazy because they don't make sense, because they're rooms or they're areas of our life that have pain, have feelings that are not pretty. But the more that we go in there, the more that then we can take from there what's necessary and let go what's draining and be able to perceive that more and faster in others, so that if they choose, because we can't ever choose for anybody, but if they choose to then begin to clean that up. So, when you're like, oh, everybody could do what I do, sure, yes, but you were stubborn, brave, courageous, vulnerable, scared, all of that, to be able to go through it, to then say that anyone else can, because then you can call me out on my stuff that whoever's watching or listening can't perceive as much because they're not here.
Right, right. And I was listening to you speaking about the shadow, the dark side. And that's the point what I do. When you speak and listen very carefully, then there is always something, a word like there is. When you say pain, you think about pain in the dark side, pain is hitting your body in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that pain in the body is an emotion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So from the emotion, you have already an input where you can connect, okay, what really mean that emotion is connected to what? But for me, when I was there, I'm saying, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Where is my dark side within me? What means subconscious mind within me? It's not, I was telling everybody, it's a box, mysterious box, where we have 95% of our life, emotions, habits of memories, right? It's very simple. You remember the eyes, the thing like, but for me, it was not enough. Until one day I realized that is my nervous system. We talk about our nervous system, right? So the pain in this side, the dark side, is eating my nervous system. My nervous system, to communicate with my body, is communicating certain point in my body. So my body is telling me in certain point, okay, I'm hitting here, or in the stomach, or here, or here, or here. So that means there is some kind of emotions, right? So tell me if I'm not clear, because in English for me sometimes it's really, but
I understand you perfectly. I think for some people, at least who are newer to this type of information, they're surprised when they find out that emotions are neurochemicals that travel throughout the body, and that some of them get stuck. I think that this is becoming much more common information nowadays. But still, for some people, it's very surprising. So it makes perfect sense that the nervous system travels throughout all of the body, right? And memories, when we have a memory or when we're looking forward to something, our body physiologically has a reaction. That's why there's anxiety and depression and excitement. Those are things about things that haven't happened necessarily or are happening right now, but they might or have in the past or in the future.
Right. And the point is that I believe you are like me. Many clients call me to need help for some reason, right? So our body, our systems are always communicate with us in certain point, and they're always in the moment to change immediately if you act in a certain way. If you are sad, you have to be sad. I mean, enjoy that. That means there is something you understand. But if you don't want to be sad, you can be happy. Is in the way you acting, in the way you understand that, in the way you can change that. That means you surrender to yourself.
But
So it's complex, but it's the connection we have with yourself,
yeah,
right?
that's such a word that's used so often, surrender.
Oh yes, I love that.
It's such a funny word though.
Surrender, why is so funny? Surrender is like, for me, was like, surrender. I learned that word when I start to do ayahuasca,
Yeah.
right? I remember the first time I was there and I would start to see some stuff, and then I would start to fight, right? And then I just sit there, and I was like fighting, like ready to fight. I need to resist. And the shaman came to me and say, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm saying, "I'm okay. I'm just fighting here." He say, "You don't have to fight. That's the worst way to learn something. Just surrender." I say, "What mean? Let it go." And that say, "Let it go" was so tough, so hard. Say, I can't. I can't let it go. That's the ego, right? You can't do that. Why am do that? Why I can do that? That's too much. That's at the point I'm saying, you know what? What means surrender? And that word was like completely leaving your place. Your body don't need you right now. Just live there. And if you're able to do that, like you do in your meditation or like you dream, like you sleep, you just go. For me, just like when I decide to surrender, for me, just 1 minute. I'm just there. Right? You just leave. Like imagine somebody and when you go, you touch friend, like you never seen the movie, the Marvel's movie, like the guy, I don't remember, do the circle and disappearing, like disappearing. They call him like go somewhere, not a dimension, something like that.
I don't remember, but yes.
So I'm like that. I'm like a vacuum. Call me. I'm go like that. I'm feel my brain, my head like that, leaving, and I just decide to go, right? And that's for me surrender.
Yeah, I think it's funny because surrender, and as you're saying, it really relies on where you are in your life. So, someone who surrenders, I was thinking like surfing or bicycle riding or paragliding or even um skydiving. You're surrendering to the experience and allowing it to flow so that then you're one with whatever it is that you're doing. I remember my first meditation retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and this was in 2019. Back then he had the groups do different activities during the day, and one of them was a surrender activity where we were um on this like beam, and we had to turn around and jump backwards and and we trusted that the rest of the group was there to catch us. And it was so hard for me.
I believe that.
I was laughing about it because that's what I do when I get uncomfortable. I make jokes, and I was laughing and I was being cute. Um, and so I got everybody else to think that it was cute and funny. And and then I surrendered and I jumped, but that was wow, you
Yeah.
know?
But
Surrender.
we can look, surrender is also, imagine to go in a forest or in a park. There
Mhm.
is people right there. And you just close your eyes and you feel the breeze, the birds. And at a certain point, the noise disappearing, you're just there, you're feeling the everything there. That's surrender. If you go in the ocean, you just jump in the water, you feel that. That's surrender. Right? Surrender is like to be. There is something I recommend always, and I did with my son the other day. There is a beautiful Disney cartoon named Soul,
Mm,
right? This guy sound the piano, right? The jazz music.
yeah.
When this guy is sounding, they did sound a good job there. He sound the piano, and then at the point he disappearing, all begin to be like blue, right? That means is ikigai moment. It's really there, concentrate. All right, it's ikigai, right? Ikigai is a Japanese word, so that means you surrender your life, you surrender to your body, you surrender to your meditation. They're able to do that 24 hours, for 7 days. We do when we do meditation or we do something to go there, right? Surrender is everything. I mean, you just surrender. And when you surrender, you receive a message from yourself or some beings or something.
I just listening to, I was thinking that that might be one of the ways to define being present.
Right. Present right now.
Mm.
Not just present. Present right now.
Mhm.
I mean, there is difference here. Like present, we always present. Also, if you think the future and the past, but present right now, that's where you connect with yourself and you feel your body, you feel your nervous system, you feel everything, and you just go there, right? When you speak and you do your job with your clients, you surrender to them.
Mhm.
You're there. I know you're good because the conversation I have with you, they always beaming there to speak about myself to you. I'm totally free to speak with you. And that's mean it's not just your personality, it's also the way you do your job. You let people to speak to you. So they are free to speak to you, but also because you bring them to you, they surrender to you.
Yeah. I I I would like to say I help bring them back to themselves.
Yeah, but they need to open to you.
For sure. But the process of them opening to me or me opening to you and vice versa is a process of me having that awareness. It's a process of opening up and listening and being listened to. So it's this back and forth where there's exchange of information where when I'm in the therapist position, I'm listening, but I'm listening to what's not being said, to what was said last week, to what could be said, to what someone else said that is the exact thing, but this person. So I'm listening to a whole network of information to bring it together at the exact moment. And I'm not doing it sometimes even consciously, like this is just happening through me, that then I say, oh, what about this, this, and this? You're like, how did you know that? I just know.
You just do it because it's you.
Yeah.
But from my part, like a hypnotist, I learned from this guy like Ericksonian way. He speak about that. The client is the therapist is the client. There is no more difference. I mean, and that's a method I love because it's kind of intimacy,
Mhm.
right? It's a new relation there,
Yeah.
right? Of course, you give space to your client, But for me, and I believe also for you, is I'm learning from my client too,
Totally. Hmm.
right? I have some client when they come to me, I know they have a heavy situation, I know I can handle that, but they give me that opportunity to handle that situation,
Right.
right? I mean, and that is surrender. It's a kind of surrender.
Yeah. And it almost you take the label out of it. It's not one is better than the other. One might be the guide in this particular position, but the guide exists because there's someone there that needs the guidance, but the guidance also gets better because of the input from the one seeking the guide. And I think that's why it makes such a difference when there's practitioners who say that they know it all, they've done the training, they have the certifications or the degrees, and they don't have to go through any other practices, or they get the 999 continuing education courses, because in my field, we need to have 40 hours at least every 2 years of continuing education. So there's those types of practitioners, and then there's the other type of practitioners and whatever's in between who continue doing their inner work to continue developing themselves alongside the information of the craft of the profession. That makes such a difference, because those who don't continue their seeking for themselves, oh, I've got it, I have the paper to say that I'm good, then they get lost in the interaction of the intimacy that can take place, because the ego is masking or creating a barrier between the client and the practitioner.
Yes, you're right. And you know, the ego is that. The ego is the connection between you and the others, starting from your parents, the work, and friends everywhere, right? But that is our society, right? If you are free, if you are free to go in the way you want to go, at the end, if you are good, I will never say you don't need that license, you don't need that paper or that details, whatever is happening there. But at the end, how many people I know they do their job, they don't have the license or whatever happening there.
So that's tricky, right? That's tricky because there there is a difference. And again, this is bias because I have a degree, right? But and also because of my personal beliefs around being good enough and all of and proving myself with the paper and there's many people that I've spoken to who are at a par where you would assume that they have a doctorate but never gone to schooling for this, but have done so much inner work and so much reading and their own in education that they're up to par with someone who has a PhD. But because they've self-educated and gotten themselves checked out through their own experiences, through the guiding of someone else. But there are people who say, oh, I'm a coach, or I can do this kind of therapy, and don't do anything, or they do, I don't know, a couple of sessions for themselves and they think that they have it all figured out, or they go to a couple plant medicine ceremony, they're like, oh, now I can be a shaman. And that's when the ego is not checked, and that's where a lot of harm can be done, not just for the people going to them, but for the practitioner themselves, because they're getting themselves into something that they don't have the maturity to say, oh, this is over my pay grade, I don't know what's going on.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, that's our society. I mean, like you say, there is people that just do 2 sessions of ayahuasca and they receive, hey, I'm a doctor, so they do whatever they receive, right? And they imagine to be there and they want to do that. But the point is that, you know, you have a degree, there is people who don't have degree, I have a license. I mean, whatever happening, it's like if there is some impact to the people, that's what is available. That's what mean really good for us, right? I mean,
It's not the degree, because most of my information that has gotten me where I am right now, and I have still so much to go, is from my inner work The degree gave me a window to what's available of different types of therapeutic approaches, but it was still so narrow-minded in comparison to everything I've seen. It was just a stepping stone, a huge stepping stone, but it was just a stepping stone up. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, you don't, you need a license, you need a degree. I've had beautiful conversations with the guy who sells chlorine at the pool store. And I'm like, how do you know all this stuff? He's like, I just know. But the ethics and the values and all that those are important to take into consideration. That's what I'm saying.
But that's, yes, that is the point, Eva. The degree give you the input or the window to go in certain way, right, in your life. But it's also in the way you are open to receive all the information you're receiving.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
don't stop them. You just go for it. I mean, I believe if you were not like that, you're never going to meet me,
Never.
right? So for me, it's the same. I went there for hypnosis. I'm not a traditional hypnotherapist. You know that.
Yeah.
If somebody come to me, I'm not interested to stop smoking or lost weight or whatever. I'm not interested in that. I'm not good in that probably because I don't want to do that. I just want to do some spiritual work. I just want to go there. Let's work for the depression, anxiety, the domestic violence. So majority of my clients are women. 95% are women. But also I'm open to learn more. And that's why I did emotional release, somatic level, kundalini opening. I mean, there is so much there. And that's why we are interested to the people because we can have different arguments, and the way we acting, the way using those arguments is the way we change ourselves. I mean, I hope I'm clear, but is the way you are. That's why I'm attracted to you in certain way, right? I really like the way you acting, you speaking to me, and your intelligence, your soul. I feeling your soul is so pure, genuine, and that's why go. I want to be your friend. I want to have a relationship with you, and that's my point.
Right.
And I know in the psychologist way, you are so good. And you give me that input. Okay, she's interesting the way she do that. I mean, let's see. I want to challenge. That's why I'm challenging you because sometimes I learn it from you,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Vice versa.
I mean, that is like something boom, 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 boom in a nice way, right?
Right. And that goes back to the point of being present in the right now and being open to surrendering, and then to the humility and to all of this work that we do. Because if we're not open to tapping into those parts of ourselves that are present but not as known or as shown, it's that much more difficult to have these conversations and not feel like attacked, or not feel, oh, he's fine, I'm going to say this, oh, I'm going to get in trouble, or this is embarrassing. It's like, no, this is life.
This is life, and also is a
Because sorry, this is the stuff that people are thinking about all the time. When you're working with someone who has anxiety or depression, it's, I'm not good enough, no one likes me, they're staring at me, I'm not going to get this job, no one's going to marry me, my kids are going to hate me, all of this rumination. But when you start to call it out and bring it out, and then in your work, which I think is beautiful, the checking in with the body and knowing which parts are feeling or carrying the feeling, and then quickly releasing it, their life changes completely, where that just stops and they have the energy to go and create everything that before they were so afraid of even feeling about, or wanting or desiring, because now it's actually manifesting. And I don't mean in the woo-woo way, I mean tangibly manifesting itself in the reality. That's it. And next.
absolutely. And for me, the connection with our body is so essential, right? And we participate with Dr. Joe Dispenza
Yeah.
which is plain space and time, right? And for me, it was that I was not able to understand the way he was explaining that.
Mm.
What means space and time, right? At the end, I did my job with myself, within me. I mean, I need to understand that.
Mm.
And that's why I create that kind of a methodology in hypnosis. I take you out from your heart and take you out from your body. You have a conversation with your body. And your body is telling you, hey, I don't like the way you're acting with me. I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like the way you feed me. And you start to feel that. That's mean body and soul that are disconnected. They are separate. So there is no manifestation there.
Mm.
If there is space and time between us,
Mm.
there is problems. There are problems there. Sick, depression, anxiety, or no money, or whatever. If you start to work together with your body, you are just one, right? Your higher self with your body. That's where you can manifest. And you can go through your depression, through your anxiety. You start to understand your body. Your body is communicating with us all the time.
And so
I mean,
you,
I don't know. No,
no,
tell me.
no, no, go ahead.
No, I don't know if I answer your question because sometimes I just go through my
Yeah.
something.
No, you did. You did. Two things I want to say. First is essentially you are helping with smoking cessation and weight loss, but through a much deeper way, right? Because if you were to only focus on smoking or weight loss, then the person would miss the beat that the way you do one thing is really the way you do everything. So when you teach the person to have a connection to their body, to their heart, to their stomach, to how it's being fed, etc., then all those other symptoms that are the semantics to get them to you will eventually go away if the person is willing to love themselves that much more, to be in alignment, to be connected. And the other thing I wanted to say, and we have to start wrapping up for today, is when you were mentioning what's happening with your hands, it's like you're gripping something. I've been holding to these two things the entire time.
I know there is something there. I know there is, you know that. So connect that with your heart.
Yeah.
You
And
can do,
the reason I hold the crystals, it's because when I give when I give talks, or when I'm being interviewed or interviewing or just doing these things, I like to hold something to keep me grounded. Um,
right.
and at the end, I forget that they're even in my hand. But um, I've been doing it for years. I don't necessarily care for what each of them represent or what they mean. It's just the sensation that I'm holding.
Well, for me, because I was feeling that. Usually when people stick like that in the hand, or I don't know if it's happening, they have meeting with you and their hand are really heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, my hand are heavy. I don't know what's happening there. It just means they're holding there, right? That's mean they're just grasping the reality, right? And it's okay, it's normal. Just let's do an exercise, and it's an exercise like 2 minutes, right? And then they let it go. Their hands are no more heavy; they're very light, and boom, everything's open up. I mean, it's not your case, but I was feeling there was something when we start to speak about your heart, about your little hunger there.
Yeah.
I was feeling something because usually if I close my eyes and go to the body, I can see the chakras and then I go deeper from the chakra. But something was calling me the hands. There is something in the hands. So I'm saying, okay, there is something there. And yes, I mean, I can be wrong, of course, but I really trust what I'm saying. I mean, I'm really there. And we can go deeper, but it's not the moment. But yes, you need to connect that sensation with your hands, with the crystals, to your heart, right? And your heart is going to tell you why you are stubborn or you were stubborn. Because probably you are not anymore like before, but there's still there the communication between you or that emotion give you that permission to go there to that person or some situation in your life. And for me, it's something where you are very young. I want to stop here because, I don't know if there is people listening to us, but
No, it's okay. We could always go there later.
it's something very, very private, right?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's also we're perfectly, what's the word? Out of time.
Yes.
But this was wonderful, Marc, and I'm just so grateful for Christian for having introduced us, and just that we can connect and we can speak about these things and let them be, let them just be. I think it's a beautiful thing, because the more that we can have these honest and intimate kinds of conversations for the
Yes.
sake of learning and also teaching, that we keep evolving. And what else is the point then, if not for this? So I love so much that you're a part of my life, that you're a part of my journey, and there's just, from this time that we spoke, I want to talk 5 other hours on 20
Yeah.
other topics.
That's what happens sometimes. But I'm glad you invited me. Of course, first of all, I'm really glad I'm part of your life. We are going to work together, me and you, in the future. So we have some different project and very important project. But first of all, I'm really glad I met you, and you are such a beautiful soul, such smart and intelligent woman. I mean, I like that, and I'm really glad we did this kind of interview, this conversation, recorded conversation. It's always nice to share what we're doing, and we are here to help. I'm here to serve the other people. So if you need my help or Eva, just join us. I mean, call me, whatever you want. On Facebook, I'm Marc Maggio. On Instagram is like Beyond Your Mind official. My email is beyondyourmind@yahoo.com. So yes, I mean, I'm hoping to receive clients and to do the job with me. I mean, always glad to meet people, right?
Wonderful. Yes, we'll put all of that as well in writing so people can click on it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank to you.